You got everybody? Welcome to the Cape Coral City Council regular meeting. Today is September 6, 2020. This meeting now comes to order. Please stand for the invocation, pledge allegiance by Councilmember Cummings.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today with hearts full of hope and faith, seeking your guidance, protection for our city, our leaders, and our nation during these challenging times. We pray for wisdom and discernment for our city leaders that may make decisions that promote unity, peace, and prosperity among our citizens. Grant us the strength to lead with integrity and compassion. Lord, we ask for your divine protection over our city, shielding it from harm and turmoil. Watch over the vulnerable, provide for those in need, and instill in us a sense of community and kindness. Let your light shine brightly in every corner, bringing hope and transformation to those in need. We ask for your blessings to be abundant and for your will to be done in the city of Cape Coral and our nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gunter,
Here.
Council Members Cosden,
Here.
Cummings,
Here.
Hayden,
Here.
Long,
Here.
Shepherd, Steinke,
Here.
Welsh,
Here.
all present.
Okay, item 5, changes to the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda, or do we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Motion to adopt. Second.
Is there any council discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Shepherd,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Welsh,
Aye.
Cosden,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Item 6 is recognitions and achievement. 6A is Community Recognitions Award. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight's Community Recognition Award goes to Jaslyn Forbes. Jaslyn is a 10th grader at Oasis High School and one of Southwest Florida's best high school runners. She ran in this year's 4th of July Freedom 5K race over the Cape Coral Bridge, where she crossed the finish line at 16 minutes and 48 seconds and was the overall female winner. Last year, during the Class 2A State Cross Country Championship, she was recognized as the number 2 freshman and the 27th overall female runner in the state of Florida. In the spring, she was the only freshman to qualify for the Class 2A State Track and Field Championships, where she took 11th place in the 3,200-meter run. Only freshman to qualify. So far this year, she holds the 10th fastest time in the state amongst high school girls for the 5K. With a weighted GPA of 4.3, Jaslyn completed her freshman year ranking 10th in her grade. She's also in the Cambridge Advanced International Certificate of Education, known as ACE, program at Oasis, where she aims to earn up to 30 college credits while attending high school. Jaslyn has also volunteered for the past 2 years with a program called Top Soccer. This recreational program promotes fitness, fun, and building self-esteem among members of our local special needs community through the game of soccer. With that, I want to congratulate you on your achievements and issue you this Community Recognition Award. It says the City of Cape Coral is pleased to recognize your accomplishment. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. Okay, we'll move on to item 7 is approval of the, we do not have any listed. Item 8 is citizens input time. Citizens input is a maximum of 60 minutes set on input of citizens on matters that concern city government. 3 minutes per individual. Please remember to state your name. We'll use the podium to my left, your right, for anyone who wants to participate in citizens input.
Good evening, Council. My name is Kevin McGrail. I am in District 5, and I've lived in Cape Coral 34 years. The reason I want to comment tonight is I'd like to hear some discussion or a little discussion for the residents on what's being done to fund our bridge maintenance, or bridge repair and maintenance costs. We've got a budget that's coming up. I understand some money is being put aside, but after a brief discussion with Mr. Klingon, the city of Cape Coral is responsible for 140 bridges. The county is responsible for a significant amount. I think we have like 238. In any case, when I was on council 10 years ago, there was a discussion about the average lifespan of a bridge being somewhere in the 50 to 70 year range. Well, look on the side of all our trucks. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary. So this is something that this council needs to be forward thinking and making sure that any subsequent councils are aware that we're responsible to be paying for 140 bridge repair and replacements. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Lou Navarra, resident. Hope you're up for a little political satire tonight. I want to talk about Pandora's box. Let's look inside and see what the mayor and council has in store. Sold land earmarked for comprehensive plan as educational park for more apartments and car washes and storage lockers. Writing new rules for meeting attendance at council, no more Zoom. Your new motto, council, is be there or be square. Still bulldozing down the Rotino Center and the Yacht Club for a skyscraper parking garage against the wishes of Joe Mazurkowitz and Gloria Tate. I guess you have a select committee there, but Sergeant Schultz said, I see nothing. Creating his and council's own garbage business. You're fired, Waste Pro. Did the dastardly deed, invented the Pandora box, got rid of all advisory boards even when the voters demanded the budget advisory board remain with Mr. T, Mr. Tom, as chairperson. Did the dastardly deed of firing the student advisory board against the former mayors, Joe Mazurkowitz, and my recommendation. Consistently violating city charter and making up your own rules. 4 strikes, you're out. You all need to read the charter. Spending millions on legal services, intimidating environmental groups, paying for the lawsuit to save the Loch Ness Monster and the environment. Now, here's my real gripe. You only invited me to your victory party, Mayor, and you've never invited me again. I feel badly. But I don't party crash anymore after that CCPD 2018 false arrest and all that. But my name is still not where I want it to be. I had an 8-point agenda to meet with you, but you've cut me to 15 minutes and you don't even want to talk about the new information I found. Mayor, this is a republic. We elect all of you to do our will, not your will. But you continue to do that. And I can understand. I was in student government, and then I said I'd do the will of the constituents at USF. But then I changed my mind. But I quit because I wasn't doing the will of the people. You all need to shape up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak during citizens' input, please come forward.
Thanks a lot. My name is Maria Rojas, and I have not been living in Cape Coral for a very long time, but I have been very happy to live in Cape Coral. There's one thing that I've been noting, and that is the speeds at which traffic is going up and down Santa Barbara Boulevard. And I just want to give you my opinion that the speed limit there of 45 miles an hour on a street where there are houses on either side is already a bit fast. I was really happy today to see that there was a signage to clock people as they went by. I was going at a leisurely 37 miles an hour at that point. I've definitely had cars zooming by me, spazzing into on the right, spazzing into the lane that I'm in at about 55 to 60 miles an hour, so I'm really happy to see that at least some clocking is being done. I would propose that you might want to consider lowering that speed limit. There's mailboxes right up and down that street. I could see a little kid's arm getting cut off any time now. So I just wanted to bring that up for your consideration. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak during citizens' input? Seeing none, citizens' input is now closed. Is there any council discussion on citizens' input? Councilmember Hayden.
You know, Lou, I'm going to extend you a personal invitation. There is a youth council meeting. There's a youth council meeting at 3 p.m. on Friday. I bet they would love to see you there to hear their great discussions on building a strategic plan, the first one ever in the state. The youth council is alive and well, and for the third time or fourth time, I'll remind you they haven't been fired. They're very much in place and doing a great job for us and for themselves and for the city. Thank you.
Any other council discussion? Councilmember Shepherd.
Yes, to the person that talked about the speeding issue, we are aware of that, and I just want you to know that our chief has been on top of that, and we've been seeing a big change, and we've been seeing what he's been doing around the city. So we are working on that, and we have the same concerns you have. So, and thank you for taking the time out to let us know. And Mike, can you have somebody from staff maybe just say a little bit on the bridges that the other citizen brought up, like what we do and how we prepare for that?
Sure, I can answer it. So I had a chance to meet with former council member McGrail on the topic and referred him to talk to Paul about the bridge master plan. And so just for some basic information, in the FY24 CM on page 65 in the strategic plan, there is structure element, and the 10th bullet on that element, an agreement of how to move the city forward and strategically is to a comprehensive bridge analysis and perform an analysis of structural capacity, the functionality of all the bridges. Paul is leading that. We do have a contractor performing that work. At the conclusion of that bridge master plan, we should receive a report that says, you know, we need to perform certain repairs, we need to do certain replacements, and in some cases, we're looking for bridges that can just be removed because they only service a local neighborhood, and there's other ways in and out of that. So that's on page 65, and it is funded and underway. On page 104, 233, and 276, you will see funding for the bridge maintenance program. It's a transfer from the general fund. It's $1 million going into a bridge fund. And in last year's budget amendment, we also transferred $1 million. So we are not only taking the steps to move forward with the bridge master plan and identify the needs of that infrastructure, we are also proactively setting aside money so that when we get that back and we can then triage the priorities, we have money to start to be more on the 70-year end of the asset life. If some of them are at near 50 and we can do some minor repairs and we can get 20 years out of them, that's our ultimate goal. But without knowing the actual, having a plan and being able to triage, we will know more. But we're fully committed to doing the analysis and funding and doing the repairs as necessary.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone that came out to give us their thoughts. But
Any other council discussion on citizens' input? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 9, consent agenda. I'll now open the agenda for council to pull any items for discussion, or is there a motion to approve the items as presented?
Motion to approve.
To approve.
Second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Shepherd,
aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Welsh,
Aye.
Cosden,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 9B is appointments to boards and committees. B1 is the Community Development Block Grant. We have one vacancy and one applicant. Does council want to hear anything from the one applicant, or do we have a motion to fill that vacancy?
Motion to approve, Mr. McGrail.
Second.
Is there any council discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Shepherd, Steinke,
Aye.
Welsh,
Aye.
Cosden,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 9C is unfinished business, follow-up items for council. We do not have anything listed. Item 9D, new business, none listed. No personnel actions, no petitions to council, and no follow-up items is listed for city management. Move on to item 10, ordinances and resolutions. Item 10A is quasi-judicial hearings, first of which is Resolution 219-23. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 219-23, a resolution providing for the vacation of plat for a portion of the Driftwood Canal right-of-way located adjacent to lots 22 and 23, Block 15, Cape Coral, Unit 1, Part 2, providing for the vacation of plat for public utility and drainage easements associated with lots 22 and 23, Block 15, Cape Coral, Unit 1, Part 2. Property located at 5710 Driftwood Parkway, providing an effective date.
This is a quasi-judicial hearing. Anyone wishing to speak or provide testimony must be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. I'll turn it over to staff.
Good afternoon. Justin Heller, Senior Planner with the Cape Coral Planning Division. This is a vacation of plat case for 5710 Driftwood Parkway. The applicant, when we're construction, is requesting to vacate approximately 312 square feet of canal right-of-way and the underlying easements, as well as 480 square feet of platted easements associated with that property along lots 22 through 23. The site's about 10,000 square feet. It has single-family zoning with single-family future land use. It has about 80 feet of frontage on the Driftwood Canal. There is a small strip of unexcavated canal right-of-way along the west property line, and the owners of that property wish to extend that their property to the edge of the seawall. Here's a aerial of the subject property. And here's the sketch showing the portion of the property, or the canal right-of-way to be vacated. So we analyze this under section 3.4.5B. We find the unexcavated canal right-of-way and underlying easements are small in area and isolated. As a result, the right-of-way and easements are not going to provide a foreseeable public benefit. We don't need any new easements. The city's going to retain easements for maintaining a continuous 6-foot wide public utility and drainage easement around the site. And the requested vacations are not negatively going to affect the navigability or visibility of boaters using the Driftwood Canal. We find the vacation will not impede the ability of vehicles to turn around and exit the area, and we have received letters from all 3 utility providers stating no objection. The Cape Coral Planning Division recommends approval of the requested vacations, and the hearing examiner also recommends approval with the conditions outlined in the hearing examiner's recommendation. And I stand by for any questions you may have.
Thank you. I now open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on Resolution 219-23, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 219-23?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Shepherd,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Welsh,
Aye.
Costin.
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Kaden,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to item 10B, legislative public hearings, first of which is Ordinance 66-23. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 66-23, an ordinance amending the City of Cape Coral Land Development Code, Article 6, Parking, Chapter 1, Parking, Loading, and Driveway Requirements, regarding parking lot site requirements in the South Cape zoning district, providing severability of date.
Okay, Mr. Struve, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. For the record, Mike Struve, Planning Team Coordinator with the Planning Division. Ordinance 66-23, if adopted, would eliminate minimum parking requirements for a rather small subset of properties located in the South Cape zoning district. While this ordinance would eliminate those parking requirements for owners of those sites, it would not prohibit those owners from providing parking if they wished to do so. And staff believes that this proposal represents a more flexible, market-driven approach towards managing parking in the South Cape District. These sites that are subject to this ordinance are centered around 6 city parking areas. They're shown on the map here on the left, and that includes a couple of pretty well-known parking areas in the city, the Big John's Plaza, as well as the Club Square parking area. I want to briefly distinguish between two terms that sound similar but are used quite differently in the ordinance before you. The first are city parking areas, and these are areas that are either owned by the city or are managed by the city, and these areas are striped and they provide parking for the public. The other term is parking lot sites, and these sites are privately owned and they are located either directly adjacent to the city parking areas or separated from these parking areas by a platted alley. And it's for these parking area sites that we're proposing to eliminate parking requirements for. Current parking regulations are covered in Article 6 of the Land Development Code. Currently, owners of city parking lot sites can use city parking areas to meet part of their minimum required parking. And of course, this would be located off-site, and the amount of spaces that they're entitled to use in these parking areas is known as a parking credit, and that parking credit can be determined or calculated, and it's simply arrived at by multiplying the area of a parking site in square feet by the parking allocation factor, which appears in the ordinance before you and which would be stricken if this ordinance is approved. I want to highlight some of the proposed changes. The new language states that parking standards in Table 617B shall not apply to any site abutting a city parking area or a site within 25 feet of a city parking area. Table 617B also has been revised further to remove a footnote referencing the use of parking credits with parking area sites, since those credits would no longer be needed. Table 618A has been amended to eliminate parking allocation factors because there would no longer be a need to calculate those parking credits. And then lastly, under a subsection entitled Supplemental Parking Requirements, this has been amended to eliminate language regarding parking credits and the alteration of parking area sites. Staff is recommending approval of Ordinance 6623. This particular code change was reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission back in August, and they recommended approval of Ordinance 6623. We had one speaker at the public hearing in support of the ordinance, one opposed, and I'll be available in case you have questions.
Okay, thank you. I now have a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on ordinance 66-23, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 66-23?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, and I will open it up. Councilmember Welsh.
Yeah, just one quick question, Mike. In the presentation, page, I believe it's 12 that you have, it shows a blue highlighted area. Is that the total area for this, or is it just the area that's within,
Are you talking about this area here that's a backslide, or?
the very last slide? Is that the entire area that's eliminating the parking, or only the certain amount of feet from those lots?
No, it is only those lots that are identified in the ordinance that are either directly adjacent to these 6 city parking areas or are only separated them by an alley. So it is a much smaller area than what I'm showing here on this particular
Okay,
map.
I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Shepherd,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Welsh,
Aye.
Cosden,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carries.
Okay, move on to ordinance 71-23. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 71-23, an ordinance approving a public ingress and egress easement, utility easement, and construction and maintenance agreement between the City of Cape Coral, a Florida municipal corporation, and residents at Hibiscus Gardens LLC, a Florida limited liability company. Granting a public ingress and egress easement, utility easement, and construction and maintenance agreement to residents at Hibiscus Gardens LLC, property located 230 Burnt Store Road South, providing severability and an effective date.
Good evening, Ms. Andrews.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Dawn Andrews with the Public Works Property Management. Ordinance 71-23 is requesting approval to grant an ingress, egress, utility easements, and construction and maintenance agreement between the City of Cape Coral and the property owner to the north of the city's Burnt Store Road boat ramp. Let me put this on the overhead. The city owns the property at 230 Burnt Store Road, which is the site of our Burnt Store Road boat ramp, providing access to the Gulf of Mexico. Burnt Store Road is a controlled access county road. Burnt Store Road is located here. And the county approves all driveway locations along its roadway. The original proposed driveway access for the property to its north not meet county separation and creates a conflict with the turn lane entrance heading south into the city's boat ramp. The county has requested the city grant a shared access with the property owner to the north. This is the city's property. This would be the ingress, egress, utility easement, construction maintenance agreement for this land here, coming out on Burnt Store Road over here. Approval of this agreement grants the public right of access through the city's property and allows for the installation, construction of sanitary sewer improvements in connection with the project that will be located on the parcel to the north. The construction of the driveway, related site work and improvements on the easement area, as well as design construction of the sanitary sewer improvements from the existing manhole. So there's an existing manhole somewhere within this location right here on the city's property. Will be on the sole expense of the property owner to the north. Staff recommends approval of the agreement, and I can stand by for questions.
Thank you. I now have a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 71-23, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 71-23?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Welsh.
Thank you. What's the zoning on the property to the north of the boat ramp?
I believe that it's commercial. Let me see if I have that in mind. I believe it's commercial. Let me check my notes.
Okay.
I don't have what the zoning is, but I can tell you that the property owner has been in discussions with the city under the advisory meetings that we've had. They're planning to build a hotel that will act as an Airbnb on the site. There'll be another building to the front that will have some commercial uses, as well as a small restaurant that will be for the project.
Thank you.
And also, just for the public to understand, who will be paying for this, this roadway that'll give them access?
All costs will be on the property owner to the north, as well as recording of the agreement, the design, the construction, the installation of the driveway.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Councilmember Welsh, you got your light on again?
Yeah, with construction, what about maintenance and upkeep? Is that considered part of the city then at that point?
The future maintenance of this driveway area is also within the agreement that will be on the property owner.
Okay.
Should there be potholes or something that they're not keeping up with, there is a provision for us to correct it, but to bill the property owner.
Thank you.
Mr. City Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to fill in some information. The zoning on the adjacent property to the boat ramp is neighborhood commercial.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Shepherd?
Aye.
Steinke?
Aye.
Welsh?
Nay.
Hosden?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Gunter?
Aye.
Hayden?
Aye.
Long?
Aye.
7 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to item 10C, introductions, Resolution 234-23. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Resolution 234-23, a resolution providing for the vacation of plat for an alley right-of-way located between lots 1 through 33 and lots 34 through 66, block 4414, Cape Coral, Unit 63. Property located between Southwest 18th Lane to the north, Southwest 15th Place to the east, and Southwest 20th Street to the south, and Chiquita Boulevard to the west, providing an effective date. The public hearing will be September 20th, 2023.
Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to ordinance 74-23. Madam City Clerk, please read the title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 74-23, an ordinance repealing Chapter 16, Fair Housing, Sections 16-1 through 16-16 of the Cape Coral Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 16, Fair Housing regarding fair housing opportunities, providing severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be September 20th, 2023.
Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to ordinance 76-23. Madam City Clerk, please read the title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 76-23, an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to enter into a permissive use license agreement with Lee County Electric Cooperative, Inc., a Florida not-for-profit corporation, for the lease of property owned by the city of Cape Coral, being Block 2300C, Cape Coral, Unit 36, Cape Coral subdivision, as described herein, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be September 20th, 2023.
Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 11, reports. Councilmember Hayden, report.
Thanks, Mayor. Back in July, this council decided that it would not seek at the time, a national search for a new city manager because we were pleased with the work of the interim city manager, Mike Ilchisen. We talked at that time that we would readdress it in September, which is where we are. At the time, I had said that I wanted to see Mike through one last phase, and a very important phase of his job, and the most important thing that we do, and that's the budget cycle. As we've moved through this cycle, I believe he's put together a good budget. I believe he's exceeded expectations at this point. So, one, I would like to get consensus again from council of whether we're where we were back in July, that we do not want to seek a national search. And the second part of that would be I would like to get consensus or make a motion to allow the mayor to begin contract negotiations to make Mr. Ilchisen our permanent city manager.
Okay, I guess I'll open up for discussion on that topic, and then I guess at the end of that discussion, we'll do like we normally do, just kind of go down the line and see exactly what we want to, what each individual's desire is. So with that, I'll open up for any discussion. Councilmember Costin.
I don't really have much discussion. I think probably most of us are ready to give consensus either way. I'm ready to say yes, let's go ahead with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilmember Welch.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I'd rather just go down the line, and if we need a second for Councilmember Hayden's motion, I'll gladly give it to him.
Councilmember Steinke.
Same.
Councilmember Cummings.
Same.
And I'm the same. So with that being said, no other lights on. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to allow the mayor to begin contract negotiations with Mr. Ilchisen to become our permanent city manager.
I'll second that.
Is there any other discussion?
You good with that?
I don't think I have a vote on this.
I just want to make sure that, you know, we need a motion and.
No, you guys are right on track.
All right.
You're doing everything right. I would tell you if you weren't.
You've just been quiet this meeting, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
I haven't
that-
seen his light on yet.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give you an
Everything
opportunity to speak,
beforehand.
so the meeting didn't go by with,
I'm trying to make sure that you guys
Okay.
are staying on the right and narrow path, so.
all right.
All right. All right, with that being said, any other discussion? We have a motion, a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Shepherd,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Welsh,
Aye.
Costin,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Any other report, Councilmember Hayden? Okay, Councilmember Long?
No report.
Councilmember Shepherd?
Yeah, something, I got a phone call about, the board member that we voted for the charter schools. After we put that person into the position, they, wrote a letter literally days after saying they couldn't accept that position. And then, people were under the impression that we were coming back to, the next council meeting to vote on placing someone else in that position, and I know we had another person, we had a tie, and maybe that person should be given that spot. I kind of was waiting for it to pop up on an agenda, but I think almost a month has gone by, so I'm just curious to what's going on with that.
Madam City Clerk, if I'm not mistaken, I thought we were putting that particular position back out again, but I'll let you answer that question.
Thank you. Is that all right? All right. So I did a little research before the meeting started regarding Councilmember Shepherd's inquiry. I did want to say, first of all, the charter school governing board topics are handled by the charter school, not city clerk's office. They did forward the resignation to all of the charter school board members for their information and to see if any outreach would be done. I also forwarded the resignation letter to City Council office staff, and they distributed it to all of council. And at this time, there has been no direction to add it as an agenda item. The only other instance that I know of where we have utilized existing applications for people that weren't appointed was by a council request for youth council positions. So it wasn't an assumption that I made.
So can we go back to your initial description in the beginning? Did you say that the charter school typically, governing board, puts that out for advertisement?
Vacancies, yes, sir.
Okay. And as council liaison, Councilmember Long, have you had any discussions on where that's going?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir. I believe we've had one meeting since, and I believe the time with which the woman that was appointed resigned, I don't believe there was enough time to get that on the agenda, and it wasn't brought up. So we only meet monthly. But I do believe that the charter school board has republished or advertised that position. And so I would imagine that as a result of that, that we more or less are kind of obligated to move forward in that direction, unless we have overwhelming support to say otherwise. I personally would agree to move forward in that manner, but I don't, to my recollection, recall the charter board specifically addressing that issue. They acknowledged the resignation, and I do not believe that there was any direction given as to how to proceed.
And re-advertise the vacancy?
I don't know that that mandate was actually provided by the board.
Okay.
But I do know that it has taken place.
All right. Councilmember Hayden?
Yeah, I believe the charter school board started advertising that position this past Friday. And just for further information, the resignation was because this particular candidate, 2 family members within the space of, I think, 6 months. And it was going to be very difficult for her to continue in that role because of those losses. So I don't know if enough time has passed to really determine the number of applicants that have come in, since it was just posted a few days ago. Personally, I would rather see the applications that they do get before we move forward.
And Madam City Clerk, so once that process goes through, then they forward those names, those applicants to us. Would you happen to know, is that typically a 30-day advertisement?
So there is a resolution that the City Council approved in 2021 that we advertise in the newspaper for 30 days, and we post on social media and the various websites. I believe the ad ran in the Breeze on Friday, and the postings to the social media has already occurred.
Okay. All right. Get the information you were looking for?
Yeah, just wanted to know that it was being done. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other report, Councilmember Shepherd?
No report.
Councilmember Steinke?
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I wanted to acknowledge city staff with the assistance of Pannoni Associates for putting together a great J.C. Park forum last week. There was a tremendous amount of information there for citizens. We had a great turnout. We got some very good feedback. I was there for everything but about the first 30 minutes. I got to speak with a lot of citizens, a lot of for, a lot of against, a lot of survey cards, and the next step is to summarize all those survey cards to be brought before the council for additional considerations as we continue through the process of the design of the park. So hats off to city staff for doing a fabulous job of being prepared for it, actually making it come to fruition, and being there for all the citizens to answer all the questions they had of all the departments that will be involved in the J.C. Park effort. So other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Welsh?
Thank you. I'm just going to kind of piggyback on what you said there, Councilmember Steinke, is that I have been encouraged. We've been told that, we ignored a group full of people for J.C. Park, but as with this forum that we had And seeing some recent emails come in, I've had quite the numerous positive emails from the residents. It's not all negative that we tend to get in council chambers. So again, good job to the staff for putting on that forum and getting the information out to people about J.C. Park, and just putting it out there that it's not all negative that the press and commenters come in and say about that park. Other than that, no report. Thank you.
Councilmember Cosden, report.
No report.
Councilmember Cummings.
No report.
Just real quickly, my report, on Monday, I did go down at the foot of the bridge, Cape Coral Bridge, and help some residents and some other individuals who put together the planning of the flags for the 911 memorial. So we did that on Monday morning, so that was great to get those flags up. That was hosted by 92.5, so I'm sure our residents, that's a well-traveled road, so our residents should see that out there all this week. And also this morning participated Pet of the Month filming. If I recall correctly, the Pet of the Month was Hobart, and he's our three-legged friend. So if that is intriguing, I would suggest to reach out to the Cape Coral Animal Shelter to get more information.
Is your streak still intact?
I'm sorry?
Is your streak still intact?
Yes, still 100%. So we'll see how it goes with our new three-legged friend. That's all I have. Mr. City Attorney, report.
Nothing at this juncture.
Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one announcement. Monday, on September 11th at 8:30 on the front lawn of City Hall, we will be hosting a 9/11 remembrance ceremony. After the presentations from the speakers, the attendees will stake 2,977 American flags, each with the name of the victim of the attacks, in the front lawn of City Hall to honor their memory and reaffirm we will never forget. That'll be Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. in the front of council. And I did want to say before we conclude tonight, thank you for this opportunity. I've not taken it lightly, and I won't take the rest of this opportunity lightly as well. So thank you for the support.
Okay, with that being said, we have time and place of future meetings. We have a special meeting of the Cape Coral City Council scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, September 7th, 2023, beginning at 5:05 p.m. here in council chambers. That will be our first budget hearing. We also have a committee of the whole is scheduled for Wednesday, September 13th, 2023 at 9 a.m. here in council chambers. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Meeting adjourned.